Hey guys, Manitove here. What we're going to be doing today is they just dropped the new patch notes for the next 2A, so I figured I'd hop on and take a look and discuss what I see in the new 2A units, which is the Howls and the Reapers. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. Alright, got the patch notes already pulled up. I'm not going to go through all the patch notes because it's mostly just quality of life and whatnot. Nothing big other than the 2As. So the first one we'll go ahead and go over is the Fire Howl. First one is attack. Attacks the enemy to remove one beneficial effect granted on the target with a 75% chance, and recovers the HP of the ally with the lowest HP ratio by 15%. The reason why this skill is pretty nice because it ties in with the third skill on the Howl, removes all harmful effects granted on the ally. Attack is randomly activated in proportion to the number of harmful effects up to 5 times. So I'm going to assume it's just 1 time per harmful effect removed. It's going to activate attack. So you're going to be cleansing something on an ally and then stealing beneficial effects on an enemy with 1 move. It's pretty awesome. Modern Guild Wars, I mean, you're going to run into a lot of Frans and whatnot. Fran, Bastet, Odin, Kamoon, things like that. So this is something that's going to be used to supplement and counter those kind of current meta defenses. So I like that. It's pretty nice. The second skill is removed all harmful effects on ally and recovers both your HP by 25%. I'm pretty sure they're going to have some scaling with skill ups on these as well. We've all seen the Lulu one that was given to us in the preview. Just a better aerial. Unfortunately, this 2-star unit with the 2A will be better than a natural 5-star. The Wind one attacks the enemy and recovers the HP and attack bar of the ally with the lowest HP ratio by 15%. So sort of like how Raccoony works. Basically Raccoony first skill. Dispel, remove all the harmful effects on you and the target ally. So cleanse and then a 25% heal on an ally and yourself. Attack heal would be attacks the enemy target and recovers the HP of all allies by 50% of the damage dealt, and absorbs the attack bar by 25% and increasing the allies attack bar. So I'm assuming that is going to just be a 25% attack bar boost divided amongst the allies in the stage, whether it be Guild Wars, which is 3, or like TOA, which is 5. Not overly thrilled about that one, but we'll move on to the next one. The light one attacks the enemy target and recovers the HP of the lowest HP ratio by 15%. Removes all harmful effects on you and the target ally, same as the last. Recovers the HP of all allies by 25%. Recovers the ally with the lowest HP by 50% 1 more time, so they get a 75% heal. Grants immunity on all allies with full HP for 2 turns. We've already seen a couple of units like this, like the Windharg. If you don't remove any negative effects off of a unit, it gets 2-turn immunity. We've seen the units like this before. This isn't new with the contingency for immunity. This is the only Howl that I'm super excited about. I think this one's going to be pretty good. I'm banking money we're going to see this one in RTA and annoying some people in Guild Wars and Siege. The dark one, first skill attack, attacks the enemy target, recovers the HP of the ally with the lowest HP ratio by 15%, and creates a shield proportional to the amount of damage dealt for 2 turns. Doesn't sound overwhelming, but once again, like the first one, the fire one we looked at, you have to look at the third skill that directly benefits this unit and ties into the first skill. The third skill attacks the enemy target to inflict damage, stealing beneficial effects on the enemy and transferring harmful effects granted on yourself. In addition to this, you and the target's attack power, excluding bosses, will be switched while this skill is on cooldown. if the target's attack power is higher than yours. That is amazing. You ruin this thing with no attack power, and then you take it in, or you counterpick it in RTA when you see someone drop a heavy DPS unit like a Leica or Ragdoll, just to point out a couple uses that I see for it. It's pretty awesome. I'm thinking Guild Wars or Siege, you see a Sierra on defense, and the only thing I'm curious about of what is it going to switch the attack power of? Is it base attack power? Is it attack power after runes? Is it attack power after buffs? Because, I mean, you see a Bastet and Sierra on defense or something to that effect, and then bam. Next thing you know, you have an 1800 attack Howl with no buffs. I mean, that's pretty nice. Pretty stoked about that. I want to see how this plays out, but even with all those positive things, I won't be building this one first. I'm going to be focusing on the Grim Reapers first because I've been trying to get the Grim Reapers to work for a long time. And honestly, just after reading the skills, I think the Reaper family got a little bit more love and attention than the Howl family, but not saying that the Howls are bad. So we'll go ahead and hop on into the Grim Reapers. Alright, Fire 1. Grim Scythe reaps the life of the enemy with a deadly scythe, acquires an additional turn if the enemy dies. Same first skill as they currently have. Deadly Swing attacks all enemies with a deadly scythe and inflicts continuous damage for 2 turns. Always lands as a critical hit if the enemy's HP is 30% or lower. Third skill is no longer an attack, but is now a passive. Increases the amount of damage all allies and enemies, so it hurts you as well, receive from continuous damage by 2 times. That is pretty significant. Disturbs the HP recovery for 2 turns with a 50% chance and inflicts continuous damage if you attack the enemy on your turn. So no revenge dots, but it also adds a dot on his first skill, and it adds a dot on his second skill. So essentially the second skill is now 2 dots, the first skill is 1 dot with the 50% chance. So this guy is a dot machine that increases dot damage. So if it was a 5% tick on that dot, it is now a 10% tick. My big question about this, and I want to know, and I will be testing this the moment I get him 2-aid, does it work with Tattoo? Because a couple of speed dungeons are about to be highly improved if this works with Tattoo's exploding dot skill. That's a pretty nice buff to the Fire Reaper, who has basically fallen out of favor with most people since 2014. Alright, the next one we have is the Watergrim Reaper. Attacks the enemy with a deadly scythe to inflict continuous damage for 2 turns with a 50% chance. Acquires an additional turn if the enemy dies. They didn't buff Plague for this one like they did Thrain, the dark one. Last one, Frozen Soul attacks the enemy target to remove all beneficial effects. So it's a full strip. Decrease the target's speed with a freezing chill for 3 turns, so a 3-turn slow, and then has the ability to freeze the unit for 1 turn. Pretty solid skill set. He will be usable. Don't see him being used on defenses in like Siege or anything like that, but for offense where you can control how everything gets used, it's going to be a vital option. Or not a vital, but viable. This next one is the Wind Reaper. Now this one looks really interesting, and I will be building one, so hopefully you'll see some videos. But this is going to be probably number 4 on my list. Reaps the life of the enemy with a deadly scythe, acquires an additional turn if the enemy dies, and resets the cooldown of death penalty. Deadly Swing inflicts damage to all enemies with the deadly scythe, always lands as a critical hit if the enemy's HP is 30% or lower. Penalty. The last skill 3 attacks the enemy target 3 times with the Winds of Heavens to absorb the attack bar by 30%. So you're getting a 90% attack bar cycle on his skill 3 because it hits 3 times. The less HP the target enemy currently has, the larger the damage becomes, and the cooldown time is removed if it dies. So he has 2 ways to reset his S3, whether you kill with S3 or you kill with S1. He has turn cycling with his S3, 90% attack bar gain. Absorption, so you're reducing theirs by 90% and gaining 90% to your own. As a DPS unit, he's already not bad as a wind one. The biggest issue with the Grim Reapers were they were super squishy. They're 3-star units from the beginning of the game, so their base defense was garbage. HP wasn't great, but now they're getting 2-8, so they're going to be viable 4.5-star units. This will be the one that I am building first. This is Prom. I have spent the better part of a few years trying to make this guy work. Last Special League for RTA, I used Corona, Ishir, the Light Werewolf, Prom, XX, just depending on what my counter picks were. Trying to sneak this guy in so I can unexpectedly defense break and stun people. But the only reason why it didn't work out that well was, once again, the base stats were trash. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the skills. Grim Scythe reaps the life of the enemy with the deadly scythe, inflicting damage which ignores resist death effects. Acquires an additional turn if an enemy dies. Garo resists death. Miho resists death. Theomars resists death. Those are just the first 3 units that come to mind when I see an S1, a skill 1 that ignores it. Going to be a Miho counter. Gonna be a Garo counter. And with the proper setup, you're going to kill a lot of Theos with this. Looking forward to it. That's why I'm building this one first, because tired of those units. Next skill, Deadly Swing. Same as all the rest. Attacks the enemies with the deadly scythe to decrease the attack bar by 30%, and then stuns the enemy with 30% or lower HP. Actually, they redid this one, sorry. I was in such a rush, I thought it did the same thing. So, AoE attack bar pushback by 30% each, and stuns them if they're below 30%. That's pretty nice. And then Judgment. Brings an inevitable judgment upon all enemies, stunning them and decreasing their defense for 1 turn. The inflicted damage is proportionate to the enemy's max HP. No change there from his normal skill. But that S1 was... I like that. I'm going to build it and I'm going to rock it. Just because that ignored death on a first skill. Usually that's something you find on an S3 or... the Water Anubis is, no, not the Water Anubis. I'm trying to remember who else. The Barbarian, Fire Barbarian, S3. So on an S1, that's going to be a pretty strong skill, I think. And then we saw Thrain in the early release. Reaps the life of the enemy with a deadly scythe. Acquires an additional turn if something dies, yada yada yada. Plague. Does 2 dots to everyone for 2 turns. You instantly gain another turn after using the skill to set up Doomsday. It's a randomly falling or randomly hitting S3. Stuns the target under continuous damage for 1 turn, but now will increase your attack bar by 20% each time. It looks like it's going to be a good unit. Going to be great for TOA, TOA held, TOA hard. If you happen to have a Nyx, I mean, this is pretty much an offense that will stun lock Nyx, Thrain, and Tiana, and Stunlock dot win, I guess. Pretty impressive 2As for the Grim Reapers, though. I'm really excited for this patch to drop in about a couple hours. If you see anything that you think that I missed, as you guys can pretty much tell, I'm pretty excited about these new units, a lot of new toys. I went out of my way. I already had Thrain and Prom 6-starred, but I did 6-star the Fire Reaper already. After I get done with the Reapers, probably going to move on to that Dark Howl. He'll be my first Howl that I 2A. But if you see anything that I might have overlooked or rushed right through, leave it in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. You guys have a nice one.